Danny, how you doing, man?
Hello, brains.
Flawless.
I know.
Flawless, Danny. Right, you know what I don't get about zombies?
What?
Is that there's some instances in which they exclusively want brains, if they're on some kind of, like, brainitarian diet.
Uh-huh.
Or there's some instances where they will just inhale the flesh of a human regardless of what it is.
Yeah, I mean...
So, do brains have some kind of special nutritional value that I don't understand?
Maybe it's because their brains are like dead, essentially, or the tiny amount of energy in them is just strutting them forward to eat people.
Yeah, I get that,
Or maybe it's a delicacy. Like, maybe it's I don't know. What's a delicacy?
The Staffordshire oatcake is a delicacy.
Right, well, okay. Okay, we'll just say that the brain to a zombie is a Staffordshire oatcake. So
To a stokie.
yeah, as opposed to all other food. You would probably, especially if you're from the Staffordshire Moorlands, you'd probably go for the oatcake.
Yes, compared to human flesh, I think I would rather eat an oatcake. If the choice was afforded to me.
No. The comparison is that brains are like oat, and not that if you open someone's head, there's going to be oatcakes inside, and everything else is just flesh.
Oh God. Well, anyway, Cocker, how are you doing today?
I'm not.
Any drama up in Scotland?
No, not really. It's been raining and it's been sunny.
Maybe it's been the same here. We've had thunderstorms aplenty. Today
Wow.
I've got the door open because this is the study that we're in. There's a little balcony type thing, so I've got the door open onto the balcony thing.
Uh-huh.
I've got a window open because it's insanely sunny in here, and I would die from intense heat if I did not have those things open. So if you hear my psychopath of a neighbour hammering his pathway like he was at 9 a.m. this morning, or anything like that, then feel free to send me abuse on Twitter or Instagram or whatever it might be.
Quite right. Well, it's not sunny here at all. It's raining buckets in Scotland, but luckily it's not raining heavy enough for it to come over in the audio. So,
well, my new mic is you have to be very close to it to sort of afford it some good acoustics. So I feel like as long as I don't stick my mic out on the balcony, we'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we've got the 10-minute bullshit to do. I mean, that could have been it, but no. Jeez. Right, okay, I'm going to spin it.
Okay, spin the wheel. Oh!
Okay. Really shit teachers.
Really shit. Oh God, yeah. I think, yeah, you can sort of tell with teachers. I think when they've got to a point where they just don't want to teach anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I had a science teacher that was like this in high school, Mrs. McNeese, who was sort of the worst person in the entire universe in terms of. I mean, she might have been lovely. I have no idea, but she was a terrible science teacher. She did this thing where she'd clearly gotten tired of shouting over her years as a teacher.
Yeah.
So instead, she would take like a cupboard door and just slam a cupboard door repeatedly and be like, "Do you want me to make that noise again?" And we'd all go,
"Yeah."
I don't really give a shit. I mean, it's 30 seconds of mild discomfort. I don't really care.
I would match to her sort of weirdness, and I'd start playing Kiss. I'd be like, "Yeah," like that as she's banging the door, like. So.
You have to try and get her to do it like a metronome and then play a guitar at the same time.
Yeah.
And just try and come up with an absolute banger in the middle of physics.
Oh, she'd absolutely hate me. I'd be like, Miss, I met your sister the other day, Mrs. McNephew.
We had a load of absolutely bizarre science teachers at our school. Like, another one was my GCSE physics, because I did like separate sciences and all that nonsense. And my GCSE physics teacher, Mr. Wynne, he used to be a very, very angry man. And when I say very, very angry, I mean he was throwing students' property out of the windows, screaming at people in classrooms. He was a furious man. The number of actual stories about him outnumbered the lessons he gave me, which is quite something. But his whiteboard, he used to draw physics equations on the whiteboard with such ferocity that the top screws had actually vibrated themselves out of the wall.
Yeah.
So, like, it's writing on a whiteboard, normally you'd expect the standard sort of squeak, 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 but, like, every time he lifted the pen off the whiteboard, the board would go... So he'd be dictating some equation. So you need to change the coefficient of friction. It's like the most ridiculous thing.
Yeah. In my last week of school, I did not give a fuck anymore. So it was the last PE session of the entire...
Oh, phone notification. That's true professional podcasting. That's getting left in. I'm editing this one.
I've got an email from my school saying, "Fucking watch it." Oh. Well, I'm not.
We'll lift our $10 billion sponsorship if you don't endorse this school.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a pupil there, so fuck them. So
we can afford to lose the $10 billion. Fuck them.
Can you imagine getting $10 billion from a school that... Oh, God. That would be great. I would say whatever they wanted me to.
Oh, God. I mean, I like to pretend that I probably wouldn't, but I think I would to a point.
Yeah.
Unless they were telling me, okay, now you need to start a riot in the centre of your city based on this contentious issue. But, well, that might be a bit far.
It's
causing extensive property damage and bodily harm to many, many people.
How much are you offering? Yeah. No, but yeah. So it was the last PE class, and
oh God, PE, yeah.
Yeah. So for some reason, like the boys and girls were like split up, right, for the majority of the time that I was there. But for some reason, just this once they decided to put us all together. It might have been the last day kind of thing.
Sure.
Which is fair enough. And then teacher came in and said, right, okay, we're going to have a vote about what we want to do for the last day. And he said, put your hands up for dodgeball.
Right.
And all the boys instantly put their hands up. And there was more boys than girls in this class, and like one of the girls put their hands up, and he was like, okay, we're doing dodgeball then, because that's obviously... So democracy was working okay, Lewis.
Right.
And then a group of the girls went over to the teacher, and I could spot dissent from a mile away. I was like, what's going on over there, lads? What's happening? And so he came back over and he said, right, okay, we're not going to do dodgeball. We're going to do something else. And I was like, whoa.
This seems like a miscarriage of the democratic process.
Yeah, Mr. Mussolini, what's going on? What's happening here? And
Is there a picture of your PE teacher on the front of your school? Like a big stone carving, and all around it she said, yes.
Yes. He said some of the girls are concerned because the dodgeballs, to be fair, the dodgeballs that we have or had are lit, you know, the really small, filled to the brim with air pink ones.
I don't think I ever actually played dodgeball in school. I think it did happen, but I just think I happened to not be present for it, for like work or whatever else. So yeah,
I absolutely love that concept. It's like it quite possibly might have taken place, but I was never aware of it.
Well, that's the thing. Like, my friends would tell me, "Oh yeah, we did dodgeball the other day," and I'd be like, "Where was I for this? Was I in some kind of other lesson?" They were like, "Oh yeah, you were, I don't know, had a dentist appointment," or "Oh yeah, you were on 4 o'clock club," or whatever it was. And somehow I managed to avoid all of the dodgeball in high school through no planning. I feel the need to say, it just seemed like I accidentally missed all of the dodgeball.
You make it sound as if it's like a war crime that you had no knowledge of, and you're in a corrupt regime. You're like, what? Did you do a war crime yesterday? Oh, for God's sake, I was away. Oh, well, get it next
That
time.
makes it sound like I want to commit war crimes. Oh, God.
No. Well, maybe it should be viewed as a war crime, dodgeball. But
right, anyway,
so
carry on with this story about dodgeball.
Yes. These tiny, well, not tiny, you could fit them in your hand, pink balls that were full of air, and if you get a smack off of one, then it would be quite sore. And the teacher said the girls don't want to get hit by the balls, so we're going to do something else. And I said, well, is there not a happy medium here? Can it not be that the girls do something else and we continue to play dodgeball as we're voted
like
for?
you deflate the dodgeballs a bit or something.
Yeah, and then there was a lot of, toing and froing, and then the girls eventually said, yeah, okay, let's just play dodgeball then. So they were playing dodgeball, and then halfway through the game, 2 girls went up to the teacher when we were playing, and I knew what they were complaining about, and then the teacher said, okay, boys only, I want you to throw with the hand that you're not good at throwing with.
Right.
And I was like, what? It's like, because the balls are getting thrown too hard, and it's hitting the girls, and they're not happy with it because it keeps hitting them. So I want you to throw, if you're right-handed, throw with your left hand. And I went over.
Throw with your offhand, yeah.
Yeah, and I went over to him and I said, sir, why? And he was like, because it's hurting the girls. I said, I know, but everyone that has a decent throw, some of the girls can throw just as hard. I was getting hit in the face and all that, and I was just like, well, that's part of the game. Do you know what I mean? If I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to do it. And everyone that had a half decent throw, apart from the girls that had a half decent throw, were getting told to, just throw poorly, which is bad on 2 levels, because it ruins the game for quite a large section of the people playing it. In fact, no, it ruins the game for everyone, because then there's no challenge involved whatsoever for anyone, and
right.
And it also is bad on another level, because it's the most patronising thing I think I've ever heard. It's like, girls, you're too frail to play fair, so we're going to get the boys to throw with the worst hand that they have and just sort of launch it in a random area, and it'll just miss them completely, and then they'll win the game. So I was like, sir, I don't think that's very fair at all. And then he said, Daniel, look, I'm not in the mood for hearing complaints at the moment. I said, sir, you've just listened to about 5 complaints, and now you're not going to hear mine when it's actually a valid one. He was like, Daniel, I'm not having this conversation. Go back and play the game. I was like, sir, I'm not playing the game if this is what we're doing. So, and he was like, Daniel, go and play the game. And then
you sound like a nightmare student, I have to say.
And then I just walked out, and I wasn't playing the game. Fuck. Yes, I will throw with the worst hand I have, and then forfeit the game, because they could have done something else if they didn't want to get hit. They could have been like, all right, okay, well, fair enough, we'll go to the fitness suite or something like that. That was an option. It wasn't, no, we all have to play the same thing. Like, the teacher was perfectly willing to do that. But no, the girls were like, right, okay, let's just play then. And then once they played, they set to destroying the very fabric of what made the game actually challenging. I was raging.
This is such a bizarre Shaggy Dog story about, like, an injustice that like, I feel you will remember this on your deathbed.
Oh, I will.
It's such a convoluted, strange story. It's like, I don't know. I've listened to the whole story, and I don't know what the point was. And it's just this injustice that you experienced when you were like 16 or whatever.
So
it's crazy.
I was 18.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't that long ago. So I haven't learned anything from my rage. No, but it was my last day. So I was like, fuck you. I don't care. I mean, I'm not playing. I'm not submitting to your ridiculous rules anymore. I've got another one.
Oh, God, I'm sure we both have stories to tell for hours and hours. We both know how much of an anarchist I am. Oh, God, right. For anybody that is not in the loop, I did the political compass quiz. Turns out I'm like a massive anarchist. So, but looking back, it's like, okay, I mean, that kind of makes sense. But I for literally my entire life, when I was a child in primary school to like graduating from college, I've never been afraid to say to a teacher, no, that rule doesn't make any sense. I don't like it. I'm not going to follow it. That's a stupid rule. I don't like it. But like, I remember having an argument once with like this. I think she was the head of sixth form or the deputy head of sixth form. She came into our form room where we like took register in the morning, and then she was saying, "God, all of you are on your phones. You're not doing anything at all. It's just bad for the educational process." And I remember turning around to her and noticing, oh, she's pregnant. She's about to go on maternity leave. I feel like I can make her day a bit worse if I just have this argument with her. And then I thought, okay, maybe I shouldn't. And then I think she sort of looked at me and went, "Look at you, you got your phone in your hand." And I was like, "Right, no, that's it. We're done with this." And I remember, like, I sort of lost myself in it a bit. I was like, no, my phone is a really useful part of an educational tool. I use this for maths exams when I have to download past papers off the AQA website and do them. And I use this to contact people when I don't know how to do a question and I can't get in contact with the teacher. So I get in contact and I was like, proper going for it. And then afterwards I was like, where did that come from? This bottled up anger that I just managed to take out on this person that was like, oh, I shouldn't be on your phone so much. It's ruining the art of conversation. Oh, God.
I know.
Anyway.
So, whose side would you have been on in the dodgeball thing, given your anarchist tendencies? Would you have been on my side, who was just wanting to hold up the status quo of the game, or would you have been one of the annoying whiners that destroyed everyone else's fun for the last day of the entire school year?
I think one of my core beliefs is that no authority should go unquestioned. So I think I would have just said to the teacher, look, you can't sort of, you can't, if you're going to set up a game, have it be fair or unfair or whatever, but just have the rules be set from the start to the end. It doesn't matter what the rules are, but have them be set. And then I to be honest with you, I didn't even do PE for the last like 18 months of high school. Like I remember I went, I think it was something to do with my braces or something. I went to because it was like the winter, so we were doing football and rugby like on a rotational thing. And so with my it might have been that. Yeah, I think or it's like an operation I had on my neck or something anyway. But so I went to my PE teacher and said, "Sir, I can't do I got a note from the doctors. I can't do PE for the next 6 weeks until my neck's healed." And he looked at me and went, "You know what, Lewis? Just don't do PE for the next 18 months." Like, because there was no point in me doing it. This is one of the greater teachers I had at high school, Mr. Smith, and he sort of looked at me and was like, "Don't bother doing it for the next 18 months." And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'd rather just go to the library and get better scores in my exams than... Because, I mean, Danny, you have met me. You know I am not the most athletically brilliant. But, like, I was like, well, what is the point in me just running around for an hour when I have better things to do with my time? So I didn't even do PE for the last year and a half of high school. So...
Well, I mean, fair enough. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's like. I think, so much pressure is put on it when it's like, the PE teachers at my school were fucking shite. They were really, really bad. Like, and if they hear this one day, I hope you're listening to how, because you were shite. You were really shite. It's like they were so lazy and so inept at their jobs that they just I have this thing planned. Nah, let's just do something else and just do something that's really easy to... It's like, there was no like sort of progression from one thing to the other. It was just, okay, this week we're playing football. This week we're playing rounders. This week we're playing dodgeball. I don't want to get hit with the ball. Oh, fuck off!
No, we had like it was like essentially a random lucky dip with PE teachers in our school. Some of them were great, some of them were less great. But I think the only year in which we actually had a PE teacher that attempted to make us learn something was my first year of high school. We did like basketball. We had Mr. Leach, who was one of the greater teachers at our school, and
Mr. Leach.
Yeah, I know, but
wow.
But like he was like, right, okay, so this week we're going to practice like free throws. Just stand there, do this technique, and try and get it in the hoop, sort of thing. And then like I actually did. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm actually getting better at this. I can actually see improvement from not knowing anything to being slightly okay. Do you know what I mean?
And then
like,
was
from
he
that
like?
Point onwards.
And then was he like, Lewis? That's your hoop. You're just scoring points for the other team.
No, it's sort of. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like, it was more of like after his first year of teaching, it was sort of like, okay, yeah, I mean, these kids did learn something, but they're 11, and what? I don't really see the point in teaching them basketball to this degree.
Yeah.
I remember one of my A-level maths teachers. His classroom looked out over. We called it it was like the big yard. Is what it was essentially, like a big tarmac rectangle where we had like breaks, lunches, whatever. But they also did PE on it in lesson time. And I remember at one point we were doing like these maths questions like quietly as you do, and he sort of looked out the window and went, "Oh, for God's sake!" And we sort of looked at him and went, "You're right, sir." And he went, "I don't know what is the right. I've got a degree in maths, and I've learned to teach, and I'm really good at teaching, and I'm good at teaching maths. But these PE teachers, they just stand there and say, right, you lot throw balls to you lot, and then you lot throw them back. What an easy lesson plan. Didn't even plan that lesson, I bet. Didn't even take a register. What's the point?" And he was just like went on this rant about PE teachers. He was like, "Sir, if you could chill out a bit, mate, it's all right."
Well, I mean, to quote Jack Black from School of Rock, those who can't do, teach, and those who can't teach PE.
Ah, I see. I know very little about that. But yeah, now we know. Is that enough bullshit for
That's
you,
a
Danny?
quote.
'Cause I'm sure we both have more stories.
Yeah. We'll save it for the future. Wink, 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 wink.
Wink, wink, wink. This is us
Wink.
winking. on
I'm
an audio
winking right
format.
now.
Wink, wink.
Ah.
Oh, Danny, you winker.
Oh shit! Something went in my eye. Oh god. We're gonna have to stop. No, well, that was excruciating bullshit.
If you've made it through, congratulations. I've no idea how you've managed it, but thanks for listening to that.
Yep. Now for the podcast.
Oh God, yeah. Go on, Cocker.
This week, we're talking about Shaun of the Dead, which is a very humorous play on the title Dawn of the Dead. Ha! And it was written by Simon Pegg. It was directed by Edgar Wright, and it is starring Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Kate Ashfield, Lucy Davis, Penelope Wilton, and Dylan Morgan. This is the first of the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
And the last one that we're doing for some reason.
We've done them in a very odd order.
Yeah.
But I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. It's been good. I've really enjoyed myself with these ones.
So have I. I love Edgar Wright movies.
So do I. Okay, opening statement.
Yes, the genesis of the Cornetto trilogy, complete with buckets of good stuff. I love it. Smash cuts, great directing and camera work, and great sound design. Classic Edgar Wright. It's just a big old bucket of good bits of filmmaking. Like nice little bits of editing, nice little bits of all sorts of things. I like it a lot.
Yep. Perfect. A funny and yet horrific subversion of the zombie genre that holds at its heart a family drama so in denial that it takes zombies to air the dirty laundry.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
I would like... Right, we're going to do a brief pause here, everybody. We have a patron. Our patron's name is Darius.
Yep.
And he said to me on a live stream that I did on Instagram a long, long time ago, "Hey, Lewis, if I send you my thoughts about Hot Fuzz, will you say them on the podcast?" And he is a patron. This is a Patreon perk that you can get. However, I completely and utterly forgot twice now. However,
Yep.
I sent myself an email which reads, "Read Darius's notes on the podcast. Holy shit." So, is everybody ready for Darius's notes?
I thought you were going to say, yeah, and I've forgotten this time as well.
No, I've actually written them in my Shaun of the Dead notes, so I can't possibly forget them.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Indeed.
I am ready.
Hot Fuzz is a brilliant comedy film about the cult set in a kind of creepy English village. The film is slightly meta with itself, and Timothy Dalton plays a great villain. I love the chemistry between Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. I'll end with a weird question. Who remembers Summerfields?
I remember Summerfields.
I remember Summerfields. Our Summerfields had these little animals in like the fresh veg section where you could press a button and it would like make a noise. like the animal. So
Yeah.
like the chicken one would go caw and stuff like that.
To be fair, there weren't many summer fields in Scotland. I think I remember them when I was in England. But I don't think I've ever seen one in Scotland.
Oh.
So I think it is a distinctly English thing.
Yeah. Maybe it's a Scottish thing to like look at summer. What's that?
Yeah.
It just drizzles all year round. Summer.
Decent food. Where? Look at that! Look at all that decent food over the border wall. Oh wow!
Sorry, are you not offering anything that isn't deep fried iron brew? Because that's what I want.
To be fair, iron brew is delicious.
It is quite nice. It's almost like a. It's not like any other drink. It's almost like a cream soda, but not quite.
Yeah.
It's just very nice.
Yeah, black pudding. Did we make black pudding?
I have no idea.
We made haggis. Haggis is disgusting.
Was this like organs stuffed into a sheep's stomach and then boiled the life out of it? Something like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that they did in the 4 o'clock club. They made haggis Eli's like defining character trait. It's like haggis, my national dish. It's like what? Have you ever tried haggis? It's disgusting. It really is. It's just a wee sheep's stomach, as Merida's mother would say, and from Brave. Remember that?
Oh God, yeah.
Remember that?
But Mum, it's just my ball.
I know. I love when Scottish people are stereotyped.
I particularly like the Scottish stereotype of the Vikings from How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah, because not only did Vikings have horns, they all were Scottish.
No, we watched this the other day because it's on Netflix, and we came to the conclusion, my wife and I did, that the Vikings, this was like some kind of island in between Scotland and like Scandinavia,
Right.
where the Vikings had settled and mixed with the Scottish population, so they were Scottish, but also Vikings.
And
They were both.
and American.
And American, yes. The 5 main characters were American.
Yeah. So I don't know how that works. Back well. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about Shaun of the Dead. We've went off on another 10-minute bullshit.
Yeah, and we're half an hour in. We haven't spoken about the film
I
yet,
know,
really.
fuck's sake. Creepy room questions. Simon Pegg is an underrated actor.
100% Simon Pegg is an underrated actor. He's one of my favourites.
See when he's crying about his his mum's dead and like they're debating on whether to kill it. Oh my god, he's tears streaming down his face, and yet he can still be funny. He's like what is it he says?
I'm not sure.
Something like you're just a blah blah blah, and he's like I am not, and then he's like well you look like one. And then Nick Frost is like, yeah. He's like, you're a twat. Yeah.
Oh God, it's another one of those. Yeah, Simon Pegg is a great actor, but the 2 really good instances that stand out for me, there's actual serious acting of him in the car when Bill Nighy is dying.
Yeah.
And he's talking to him about it's not easy to be a father, Shaun. I just did the best that I could. Look after your mother and all this. And it's like really heartfelt and all this. And then the other one was in the Winchester when the jukebox comes on and starts playing that. I don't even know what it is. I presume it's Shaun and Liz's song or something. But and then he's just like sobbing, looking at the jukebox. And it's Nick Frost that turns around and goes, "Who the fuck put this on? It's on random." This sobbing, it's so random, and it's just really good. I just really like Simon Pegg, but he was good in this. He was good in Star Trek as well.
Yeah, he was.
He was good in Mission Impossible.
His accent was it was all right. I'm just being hyperbolic. It wasn't actually that bad, to be honest.
Yeah,
you thought I was gonna go on a rant, didn't you? You thought every Scottish person, every Scottish accent that someone does is shite, regardless of the content. It's like, no, that was all right. That was the original Scotty. Fucking hell,
James Doohan, is that his name? I thought
yeah,
he was actually Scottish.
Are you?
No. I genuinely, I thought he's James.
Are you pulling my pisser? What is? Have you ever?
You've known me. Canada. Sorry.
You've known me for quite a while, Lewis. Have you ever heard me sound remotely what that guy sounds like?
No, that's a good point. Actually, it's
Captain. Anyway, I'm going off in one here.
But anyway, Simon Pegg did an interview actually there's another tangent, but we're gonna get through it together, guys. Everybody, hold hands. We'll get through this one together. He did an interview with GQ. You know that thing they do where Simon Pegg or whoever talks about his career from the first thing he ever did to this film that he's promoting, and that's why he's doing a press tour or whatever it is. But like at the time, I think it was. I forget what it was that was coming out, but he spoke about Star Trek, and apparently has some Scottish family. Simon Pegg, like his wife is Scottish or something, and he says, well, it's not perfect, but most Scottish people I talk to say, well, it wasn't perfect, but it was all right. So,
yeah. I mean, I'm one of them. It wasn't perfect, but it was all right. It was. It wasn't horrendous.
Ready Player One, that was it, because he was in Ready Player One, wasn't he? He played old man something or other at the end.
I don't think I've seen Ready Player One.
Neither have I, but I've seen that interview with Simon Pegg several times. But so you know.
Okay. Yeah, he was in Ready Player One, wasn't he? Oh, I haven't seen it. Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I have another note. There's no real action in this one. Well, there is, but there's not like the sort of fast-paced World's End / Hot Fuzz action, is there? Where it's
you're completely right. Yeah,
it's very realistic. It's like that's probably how people would be. It's like you try to kill these things and they're just keep walking, you know.
Yeah, and he's sort of pushing them away with his cricket bat more than he's actually trying to kill them.
Yeah,
it's just like I just want you away from it. That's what you'd be like in that situation, because it's like I think you sort of revert to that animalistic. Just go away, just get away from me. It's like almost an instinctual thing.
Yeah. The way the zombies are in this film is the way I see most of the Western world.
Good Lord. We had a heavy chat before we even started recording, and good God. Thing is,
it wasn't that heavy, was it?
Zombies a metaphor for the droniness of modern day life?
That's what I thought. I thought it was very, you know, here's my favourite word, monotonous. I got that one right. I learned how to pronounce it over the week. That's my achievement. But I think that it's probably, especially around that time of the last decade, because everything was changing really fast, and it was a sort of common trope in media to portray the public as sort of drones attached to their phones, blissfully unaware of the fact that about 10 years later we'd be like a completely different civilized. The phones that we have now compared to back then are just ridiculous.
Yeah, it's watching him use a landline is sort of insane in a way, isn't it? Like, I think we have a landline in our house because I think you have to for an internet connection, but I could not tell you where the phone is. I have literally no idea.
Yeah, I know where my house phone is, to be fair. You can borrow mine if you want.
Yeah, I'll do it. If I'm ever filling in a form and I need to put down a landline number, I'll make sure to put yours down, Dan. Don't worry.
You'll like this. No, I hated myself for making it, but I know that you'll like it. Are zombies a metaphor for capitalists?
Yeah, sort of that consumer mentality of I must have more. I'm never satisfied. I'm always hungry. I need more. Yeah, maybe. I think it's one thing that I don't talk about it a lot, but I am a zombie snob. Like
You're a zombie snob.
Yeah, like I think, I'm very picky with my depiction of zombies.
Right.
Like for example, World War Z, the book, I think portrayed zombies incredibly well. The way it represented this, they just keep coming. It doesn't matter what we do. This infection, it just keeps coming.
Yeah.
Like now we've sort of found ways to live with it, and we've got big old fences and stuff, but we will never stop them. They will always be here.
Yeah.
I think that way they represented that in the book was really, really good.
Uh-huh.
There's another book called Feed. Feed, like the joke. Well, I was going to say joke. It's not a very light-hearted book, but like they're bloggers. The main characters in the book are bloggers, and so it's like a blog feed, and also zombies wanting to feed. That's the thing. But like essentially, it's these bloggers that are covering a presidential election as like almost news reporters, but in the midst of a world, like a post-zombie apocalypse world.
Yeah.
Essentially. But the way they represent, like, all the security checks they have to go through, things like they constantly have to have, like, blood tests and sticking their arm in, like, a zombie testing unit and all this sort of stuff to check their blood, check this. And, like, the main character is this girl that has, like, a dormant version of the zombie virus or something like that. Yeah. It's like a minor version. So she has this thing with her eyes where, like, her pupils are permanently dilated to like maximum dilation, because that's something of the zombie virus in this world. The zombies just open their eyes as much as they can, get as much things in that they could possibly eat. They want to see as many things as they possibly can. That's the idea. But so like she constantly has to have these double blood tests, and it's like talking about how the zombie apocalypse after a while becomes more of a hassle than anything. Like they go to like this enormous Republican nomination. What's it called? The RNC? Republican National Convention or something like that?
That's it.
But they go to that with their presidential hopeful candidate bloke. And it's like, essentially, it's just a stadium full of people, and they're, like, nervous about it. It's in the same way of, like, it was, like, a key thing of the American psyche after 9/11 that you would be nervous of low-flying planes. And so they're saying, well, after this enormous zombie apocalypse, we're just nervous of large gatherings of people. What if somebody in here turns and we're just not aware of it? We're all infected. If one of us dies, one of us has an aneurysm, we're all fucked.
Yeah.
It's about that sort of constant fear in the face of tedium, essentially, of another blood test, another hand scan, another retina scan, etc., etc., etc. But yeah, that's really good. But the zombies in this, I think they're lifted from Dawn of the Dead in a way. Is that George Romero?
Yes, I believe it is. Yeah.
But yeah, they're very sort of classic zombies. I want to eat flesh, and I'm sort of impervious to damage and pain.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's never really. See, if you die and you're not bitten, do you just come back anyway as a zombie, or do you just die?
Well, I don't know. It's another one on my note. I can't find it now, but it's another one on my notes. Where does the actual infection come from? Yeah, because I think it's deliberately left a bit vague. Like they talk about a suspected meteorite alien spacecraft breaks up over the southwest of England, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
And then they also talk about new illness. GM crops blamed is one of the headlines in the papers when Shaun goes to the shop, and lots of things like that. So you don't actually know. It could be that sort of Walking Dead thing of like everybody's infected. It just takes one of us to die, and they'll turn immediately.
Yeah. Could be.
It's difficult to say.
Yeah, and I think that zombies have to be sort of expanded upon a little bit. I think a little bit of originality would be good, and it would go a long way for them. You know, just to sort of revitalise that sort of genre. There's I can't remember where it is, but there's a group of zombies that can speak. That are that are intelligent. That they're very slow, but they can think. And they can speak, and everything they say is an attempt to try and kill you, essentially, to eat you. So it's like,
it's almost like they're psychologically tricking you sometimes.
Yeah, it's like I think there's one where it's like there's a guy in his house, and the zombies are like too weak to break in, so they start like whispering to him, and start trying to convince him to come outside.
Worst nightmare, isn't it? That's horrible.
Yeah, and it just goes on for days and days and days, and then eventually it is like so driven, like just mad with the sheer horror of it all that he goes outside, and then he's just like instantly torn apart. So that would be really, really creepy, I think.
Oh god, yeah, completely.
So just something a bit different, something just to shake it up a little bit, I think would be a good thing. But I mean, for this film, the zombies are furniture, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. They're a plot device more than they are a plot anchor.
the film is about these characters and their sort of monotonous. Haha, I got it right. Monotonous relationships that have to be resolved, because if they're not resolved, then they're gonna die essentially, which is a good way to sort of.
It's like when he gets to Liz's flat in the. I was going to say the first act. It's not really the first act. At the start of the second act.
Yeah.
He gets to Liz's flat and he's like, no, look, it's not really about you and me anymore. It's just about survival. Like, he's sort of saying, we have to overcome our differences because otherwise we are all going to die.
Yeah. Dylan Morgan, who plays David, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. With the glasses.
He is really good at being an insufferable arsehole.
Yeah, he's really good at being a twat. it's watching him. It's like everything he says. Oh, fuck off, David! you just don't want him to carry on in the. Oh, what's that thing? Was it Liz or Shaun or someone says? And it's obvious that David's in love with me or something.
Yeah.
And then there's, I don't know what he meant by that. What do
Yeah.
you think he meant by that? And it's just like, it's just such an insufferable bellend.
I could see what David is trying to say, even if he is being a twat.
Oh God!
Thank you, Lizzie. I mean, imagine your first guttural reaction because you don't like a guy so much is that when his mum dies, it's like as if he ever would shoot, Shaun's mum. Like, cause he couldn't. He was like, you do it. He's like, so he was just. Was he just doing that to be hurtful? Was he because he's so jealous? I mean, like, fuck, that was hot. That was horrible. It's like, and his logic makes sense, but it's like just the sort of, just the way that he went about it. It's like, get out of the way. I'm going to shoot your mum, rather than saying, Shaun, I know this is dreadful, but we need to think about what we're going to do here before she,
reanimates.
Yeah, there is such an easier way to deal with that rather than just get out of the way. I'm going to shoot your mum. I mean, that just doesn't help anyone.
Oh God, he's a long and intensive course of therapy, I think.
Yeah.
Right. My favourite thing about the Edgar Wright movies is the filmmaking that's gone into them. There's like so much effort that's gone into these films, and you can sort of really tell.
Yeah.
Like he does this thing in this film which he doesn't really do in a lot of others. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's an actual word for it, but I've taken to calling it the go look return. Like he does it several times in this film. Like most notably in the house, when Shaun says to Ed, "Are they still in the garden?" And Ed goes over to the window, looks out the window, pulls the blinds up, and they're clawing at the window, puts the blinds back down again, and comes back and says, "Yes, they're still in the garden." It has such powerful comedic value, and I have no idea why people don't do it more. It's really good.
It is hilarious.
Nobody does it. Good with the "it's not that I don't like you" plus different sight gags. Like, yeah, it's good. It's not that I don't like you in that pub. It's not that I don't like you guys, and then it just pans to reveal them sat right next to them. And there are so many whip pans in this film. The cinematographer for this, incredibly talented. Really, really good.
I mean, this is the tame version of the Cornetto trilogy because it's not as stylized as the other ones are a bit become. So it's like I think it's just sort of feeling out what works and what doesn't, and then it just sort of snowballed from there. But you're right, I absolutely love that bit. Is it?
Yeah.
They're still out there. Shh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the go look return, and they do it again in the pub later when he's flicking through the switches, isn't he, or is it something like that on the wall? And I watched this yesterday, and it's already leaked out of my mind. But like he's flicking through the switches, and he flicks on a switch, and there's zombies outside. So it just flicks the switch off again, and walks back into the other room. Okay, guys, there's some zombies out there.
It's because I think it's the accents as well. I don't think it would be as funny in an American accent.
Oh God, yeah. I think there's a lot of comedic value in the differences in English accents.
Yeah.
Like Russell Howard is someone that really harnesses this very well, because I think he's from the West Country. I'm not sure, but like in his stand-up,
Isn't he from Birmingham?
No, that Joe Lycett's from Birmingham. I'm not sure where Russell Howard's from.
Oh yeah, Joe Lycett is from Birmingham. That's right.
But Joe Lycett does it as well in his stand-up. Like like he hosted the Great British Sewing Bee, and there was this one thing was like hello everyone, welcome. All right, Bab, and it's like it just flicking in and out of your accents. It's like this. It's the English accents in this film, and especially in Hot Fuzz. Everyone round here has got guns, Ooh, like farmers, and who else?
Yeah.
Farmers' mums. It's something that only works in that accent. It's really good.
There's a bit that Joe Lycett does where he talks about what is it he says? It's the first thing. It's basically one of the first things he says when he comes out on stage. He's like, "I'm bisexual, so you're all at risk."
Oh God! And yeah, there's something else. I'm bisexual. If you weren't told at the door, or something like that.
Yeah. What's the thing where he's like he gets a parking fine, and it says it's for Leeds, and he goes to the parking fines office, and there is no way that he could possibly have parked in Leeds and got here in like 9 minutes, and the woman behind I think her name was Shaun, he said, and she was behind the counter. He's like, "But how did you get here so quickly?"
Oh, I really do like Joe Lycett. He's got a consumer show now, hasn't he?
You'd have
Joe
had
Lycett's Got Your Back.
Yeah,
I really like that show.
When he changed his name
to Hugo Boss. Yes,
Hugo Boss.
That's great.
That's so funny. That's really clever. You'd have had to have broken the speed limit. I'd have had to have broken the speed of sound, Sharon. Oh God. I have a question.
Yes, go on.
If there was a zombie apocalypse,
Yeah.
what would your game plan be? This is like a sort of quasi-intergalactic dream team, but just...
It is a bit.
This could be a new thing.
Yeah, alternate.
Yeah.
I don't have a plan, but when I was doing my work experience, I remember I was talking, I think it might have been about Shaun of the Dead, because I did my work experience with a production company that's local to me, Junction 15, and I was talking to Darren, who's I think he's the head of the company, or the co-head, or I'm not sure, but we were talking about what your Z-Day plans, what would you do? And he was saying that I think he said he lived opposite like a petrol station, so go across and like loot all of the consumable packaged food and drink he could. Doesn't matter what it is, if it's like beans, custard, peach, anything that's there on the shelves, tins, frozen, fridge, get everything sorted out later.
Yeah.
And then said he had a basement which had like wooden stairs going down into it. So he would take like a radio down there, plug it in, and just turn up the volume to max. Put it on something that's likely to play forever, almost.
Yeah.
And then destroy the stairs that lead down. Like, come back up, destroy the stairs, and then go and hide in the upstairs of your house, nail doors shut, whatever you have to do, sort of thing. The idea then is, if zombies do get into your house, they'll be drawn towards the noise of the radio, fall down into the basement, and then not be able to get out.
That's very clever.
I remember thinking it was very, and it stuck with me for quite a while. So it's my work. I was like 14, 15 when I did that, and now I'm like 20, and I still think, yeah, that was a really good idea.
I mean, there's obviously a few flaws with that plan. What if the zombie falls on the radio, and even if not one falls on it or manages to get up to destroy it, eventually they'll pile up.
That's true, yeah. If you've got like a basement full of zombies, you're gonna have to have like a routine. Go down there with a crossbow, or set fire to the basement, or something. Yeah.
And then if you taking the fridge up the stairs, are you just staying there the entire time? When you run out of food, which you will do eventually, are you cooking it, or are you not? Or are you just, there's a few flaws, but good try, but you're dead.
What are your Z-Day plans then? Go on.
Oh, I'd probably go to a shop with shutters,
okay.
and I'd put all the shutters down, and then I'd just be as quiet as possible forever.
I see. Well, how would you eat?
I'd have one shutter that I could open now and again to go out and scavenge for resources.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I
don't
understand what you're getting at. Yeah.
I don't think there's really like an optimal an optimum scenario in this kind of world. It's like if you want food, you're gonna have to keep moving, but if you want to be safe, you're gonna have to hold up essentially, preferably with like another group of people, and then you can get other people to go out as well and start like search parties and that for food.
Yeah. The best post-apocalyptic sort of fiction I've ever consumed was this book. I bought it because it was like, I went into Waterstones one day and it was the bestseller and I was like, oh, that looks good, and it was on offer, so I bought it. But it was called The Last or something like that. But basically, it's these sort of scientists it's a conference of some kind in a hotel, and then they're at breakfast one day and they all get these notifications: nuclear bomb dropped on Washington, nuclear bomb dropped on Moscow, and all this sort of stuff. And essentially, it immediately goes to shit in this isolated hotel. People are getting into cars, hurrying for the airport, and all this. But a group of them say, well, if we do get to the airport, who's going to be flying? No planes are going to be taking off. So they decide to stay at the hotel, and it's about like their relationships in this hotel, and when they have to go out and scavenge for food, and like one of them is like the security guard of the hotel who chooses to stay, and like he's got this little arsenal of guns that he keeps for like people that come close to the hotel, hoping to lure people out to kill them and eat them as cannibals, and all this sort of stuff. And it's just a really good book. I kept me enthralled page 1 to the end. The ending wasn't great, but you know, the rest of the book is fucking fantastic. But yeah, I really liked it, and I forget where I was going with that.
So the people in the Winchester have to fight off the zombie hordes.
Jesus. Yes, they do.
As a team, sort of like an
That's beautiful, Danny. I liked the terrifying gargles and noises that you made there. It was really good.
Intergalactic Dream Team. That's what I was getting at. Okay.
Okay. Heroes.
ASMR.
ASMR. Please,
ASMR
let's not do ASMR.
Well, that's the next 10-minute bullshit.
ASMR.
ASMR. What a fucking creepy concept.
It is a terrifying concept. What was the it was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Jake goes undercover as an ASMR performer, and he's like trying to escape from a hotel, and somebody that's with him says, "Do you know who this is? This is the premier ASMR performer on Twitch." And the person behind the desk goes, "What?" He goes, "He just speaks really softly." And Jake goes, "I also crinkle paper." Things like, it's just really good. I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
I think the technical term is ASM artist.
Oh Jesus, that's even worse.
Yeah.
Right, go on. Tell me your IGDT.
Okay, Hero 1 is L.
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 From Death Note.
From Death Note, yes.
Which one was he again?
The one with
he was the one that they made deliberately cookie. Yeah.
Yeah, the detective. Yep.
Yeah.
Hero 2 is a moderately competent computer user.
Right.
For the sake of this, we'll call this person N.
Oh Jesus! Is this going to spell something out?
Right. Number 3 is another moderately competent computer user, and we'll call this person E.
Right.
Number 4 is yet another moderately competent computer user, and we'll call this person A.
A.
Yeah.
You've got Neil?
Well, not really.
Well, Neil as in, like, the name. N-E-A-L.
Yeah, I suppose, but nobody spells it like that. And number 5 is yet another moderately competent computer user called R.
R. No real. Okay.
What?
No real. Who's your villain?
Kira, also known as
Kira.
Light Yagami.
Okay, Kira from Death. No, there we go. Right, what ship are they in?
An RV.
An RV.
Yep.
Right. So.
An RV
Right.
big enough to fit a lot of computers.
Okay. Okay, go on. Tell me your plan.
Okay, so the plan is, so we're assuming, right, that L and the moderately 5 computer users don't know who Kira is, right?
Okay.
So once they find Kira, then they've won, essentially.
Okay.
So the first thing that L decides, because he notices that there have been these killings, and the people that have died of heart attacks, and because he's a super detective, he's come to the realization that this can't just be a coincidence, and it's mass murder like he does in the manga. And the thing he does, he organizes to get a death row inmate on television,
Right.
and have that death row inmate pose as Kira, not as himself, and basically call out Kira and say you're evil, and do that in every country in the world, just like he did in the manga, until Kira then lashed out. So he does it in Japan, and then he gets lucky, and luckily Kira's in Japan, and he said that it was a worldwide broadcast, but it's actually just to the Kanto region of Japan. So he already is narrowed in on where Light is, but he doesn't know really anything about Kira.
Okay.
And this is where the genius stuff comes to play.
Right.
So the 4 moderately competent computer users will act as linchpins for any information that can be given about Kira on the internet. Now, in the original timeline of Death Note, it took place in 2003. The internet was very, very basic back then.
Okay.
Compared to what it is now. But in this day and age, the internet is incredibly, incredibly powerful. And I don't know if you're familiar with people on the internet, but there's I'll give you an example, because you're gonna need evidence. So there's a certain individual called Shia LaBeouf.
Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, cannibal Shia LaBeouf, and he became a bit of a political activist in 2017.
Right.
And he set up a 24-hour stream protesting Donald Trump.
Okay.
And online trolls, hundreds of them, working together, managed to find out where it was based on cloud patterns in the sky and just by the look of buildings, and managed to come and just ruin the stream every single time. So Shia LaBeouf put a flag up saying he will not divide us, and started a new stream, just a flag in the air, and hundreds and hundreds of trolls working together managed to find the flag and take it down based on nothing. Not based on nothing, based on planes passing by, just like the angle of the flag and where that could possibly be, wind patterns and stuff like that. So maybe in 2003, where Light was using the internet to look up criminals, he could probably look at them and get away with it, because no one was really paying attention. But now we've got L and all these moderately computer users saying any information about Kira, send it to us. And you've got thousands upon thousands of people on the internet, and I can guarantee you that some grouping or some community on fucking 4chan or whatever it is would say, okay, right, let's commit to try and find this. And I guarantee you that in a week they'd know that he was a student.
I see.
Because the internet can do that. There's another example that I can give you. There was a Syrian training camp that was like, they were like posting videos. It was like a very top secret place, and they were posting videos of lit training exercises, and these trolls managed to find it and sent it to the Russian authorities, and got the place bombed essentially. So it's like a lot of serious stuff can happen if like thousands of people work together.
I have no doubt that it's actually doable. I think it's struggled to motivate people.
Really?
Yeah. Because like, the entire point, the whole thing about like memes and internet culture is that it's almost entirely unpredictable. Like for a month or two, the meme culture centered around a short story by Edgar Allan Poe. What was it called? The one where he bricks someone up in his wine cellar. I've forgotten what it was called. But it's centered around that. I think, I don't know, maybe if you offered some kind of a reward, then yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. Kira professes to be a god quite often, and I can guarantee you that if a bunch of trolls can take down a god that can kill people without actually being there and just with a name and a face, I imagine they'd probably do it, and they wouldn't even rely on the authorities at this point. Elle probably wouldn't even have to do anything, because they would find someone who fits the description of Kira, which would be Light. They'd rush him and find a notebook with all of the names of the people that have been killed. And it took like a week for Light to build a sort of drawer and to sort of conceal the death note and hide it, and until then he just used to carry it around with him. And if they thought that it was him, they'd rush him, take his bag, and see that there was a notebook with all the names of the victims in it. So it wouldn't be a hard sort of leap to make. So,
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm struggling to say this wouldn't be doable, because it would be doable. That's the thing. It's just getting people to do it.
Yeah.
I suppose if you had your NEANR generating like an internet culture about it and sort of generating memes, probably that'd be a good way to motivate people to do it.
I mean, Elle's like a renowned detective in this timeline, so it's like, if it directly came from Elle, I'm sure that there would be quite a few people willing to try and find him.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah, go on, I'll let you have that one then. Although I have to say, it isn't as good as the one that my wife and I came up with last week.
Yeah. By the way, NEAR spells out near.
Yes, it does.
Which is Elle's successor in the manga. You know the other guy with the white hair that actually beat
he's
Kira.
Like a child.
Yeah, I just thought I'd do a clever wee thing there. And guess what, Lewis? Guess what? I've got some bad news.
What?
I plagiarised the entire plan.
From where?
From a fantastic YouTube channel called The Imaginary Axis. And this isn't... we don't have some sort of deal with him. But, you know, it'd be great if we did.
If you're listening, hit
us up. Hit us up, yeah. But he does some like amazing comic book and manga work on like, you know, is the Joker really insane? And he comes to the spoilers, by the way. Is the Joker really insane? No, of course he isn't. He just knows that he's a comic book character. So just stuff like that, just like really sort of weird, insightful.
Okay, cool.
Sort of
I get that.
theories.
Well, anyway,
it's really good. I'd give it a watch.
Yes, I'll have to.
But yeah, well, that was the Intergalactic Dream Team.
It was, and there isn't much of a leap back to Shaun of the Dead. We go from intergalactic teams to London teams.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not much of a leap, just like a couple of thousand light years. Bam.
I really liked that Labour difficult to go joke. Anyway, right. This is less of a CRQ or CRS or whatever about Shaun of the Dead, but should we revive the jukebox? I feel like it's a thing that has some kind of merit in social situations. It's like it's the paralysis of choice. You look at Spotify and it's like, 30 billion songs that you can stream, and you're like, that's so much music, I can't possibly listen to any.
Yeah.
And then it's like the facing up against infinite choices on Netflix, and you end up just like, oh, I'll watch something. I'll watch some random shite again just because it's there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think there's something endearing about actually like doing it yourself and choosing the music without just tapping your phone. So that you hear it click in and you're there for it, and it's in the room with you. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Rather than someone else listen, like a million other people listen to it at the same time as you. It's like, no, this jukebox is just here with us, and that's it.
Yeah, it's a small experience that we're all sharing. It becomes like a more intimate, friendly thing almost.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think let's have revamp, revive. Let's revive the jukebox.
Yeah,
if that's at all possible.
Anyway, I'm gonna buy one if I can. I'm gonna save up.
I'm fairly sure I looked online. I think they're actually quite expensive. I have no idea.
I bet they're expensive, and it wouldn't fit in my room. I'm going out to the garage to listen to my jukebox.
Oh God. Anyway, this podcast's getting a bit long, and I want to make sure this gets in. There is such good dialogue in this film. There is such good dialogue in all of the Hot Fuzz films, all of the Cornetto trilogy films, but this one in particular I really like. Like from little things like Nick Frost saying, "Next time I see him, he'll be dead." And he's drunk, and he's saying, "I'll fight him next time I see him." Next time I see him, he is dead. He is a zombie.
Yeah,
it's just really good. And another little sprinkling of delicious dialogue on top was Simon Pegg being sad in the pub, and Nick Frost chatting to him, and then what was it? It was I forgot what he's called. The housemate that's just perpetually furious.
He's played by Peter Serafinowicz.
Oh, okay. Well, him anyway. What am I saying? There's a bit where he's kicking off at Shaun and Ed, and Shaun turns around and says, "Come on, mate, we broke up with Liz tonight." He says, "We?" Not I.
Yeah.
He says, "We. We broke up with Liz." Is this sort of connected to Ed in a very strange way?
Yeah.
I like it. It's weird, and I like it. There's a lot of good dialogue in this. It's a really good one.
I agree. Do you ship them in this one?
No, I do not ship them in this film. I was very confused. No, I don't ship them in this film. I think they're just mates in this one. I think for me, it was The World's End. I thought they would be really cute together.
No, Hot Fuzz.
Not this one. Oh God, yeah, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, I ship them in Hot Fuzz,
Yeah.
but not this one.
Yeah, fair enough. That's fair.
Do you ship them in this one?
No. You know how you said like this podcast is getting long? Do you not remember the days when it was like an hour and a half was the minimum?
Yeah, I do remember.
Do you remember those days?
The Ex Machina one was really long, wasn't it?
We were so young.
It was less than a year ago, Daniel.
I know, but it feels like a long time ago. You know, I've finally realised not to put stereo on instead of mono. You know, so my audio just sounds a lot better. So you can hear me ramble about inane shit in a more clearer voice, which is good.
Also, I did notice, by the way, the yellow pages when they talk about that restaurant. You know, the place that does all the fish. I'll book us a table. In the yellow pages, the tagline for the restaurant is actually such and such, the place that does all the fish.
Wow!
And it's got that in like what's it called? Not inverted commas, quotation marks.
The place that does all the fish.
All the fish.
All the fish in the world comes from this one place.
Yes, it's a... Oh God, yeah, it's a difficult one.
Yep. Can you tell that we're out of notes?
Yeah, I think we are out of notes. You're right.
Oh no! Wait,
you got a bit of
I've got one. I've got one. I loved the cameo, from the other sort of gang that were out there, consisting of like Martin Freeman, and Matt Lucas at the back. You know when they run into them on their way to the pub.
Oh God, yes. God, that took me. At the time, I didn't even clock it, but now you say, yeah, and it was the lady that Shaun met on the street, and he was like, oh yeah, me and Liz been together for 3 years last week, yeah.
Yeah.
And she was leading it or something, wasn't she?
Yeah, she's in Doctor Who as well.
Yes. Who is it she plays in Doctor? I thought I recognised her.
Yeah,
Who is it she plays in Doctor Who?
She plays Nurse Redfern in The Family of Blood.
Yes, that's it.
Yep.
Oh, I love The Family of Blood. It's a really good episode.
It's a good one. It's a good one. We'll get there. Don't worry.
We will. Don't worry, peeps.
Yeah, Matt Lucas at the back. Just all right. Oh god. How do you think that? How do you think that came about? It's like, okay, Martin Freeman, I've got a cameo for you in an Edgar Wright film. Do you think he was just like, yep, definitely, let's do it?
Yep, get me in it.
Get me in it.
I think this was Edgar Wright's first feature film. That might. Right, we need to fact check that, but I'm not sure. But
yeah,
I think before this he did. Oh, what was that thing? The series he did. Spaced, was that it?
Maybe
something like that. But it was with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. Basically, it was like Peep Show, but with them.
Right.
In a way.
Right. Okay.
And I remember seeing again in that GQ interview with Simon Pegg. They'd spent a morning or whatever doing this zombie sequence for Spaced, and then they said, you know what, I really want to make a zombie film, and then they made it happen, and that's what Shaun of the Dead is.
Excellent.
Which is just superb. I mean, we watched Tommy Wiseau, and it's like, oh well, I guess he made a film. Good for him, I suppose. But like, you see these guys make a film, and you're thinking, actually, yeah, that was really good. I enjoyed all of that.
Yeah, I mean, then he did Baby Driver, which is another great film.
Baby Driver is a good film, yeah.
Yeah. So I wonder what he'll do next.
Well, he was in talks to do Ant-Man, wasn't he? When it was the first a thing, but then what was it? He had some kind of a creative dispute with Marvel, so
yeah,
he left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when we do an MCU video, I'll explain why I think he made the right decision there. But I think we're out of notes now.
I think we might indeed be out of notes. I mean, I've got lots of little things like, why the hell would you have a decorative, non-commissioned gun?
Yeah.
Like, why would you, if it's a live weapon with bullets in it, why would you just have it decorative? Keep it under the bar, maybe.
Yeah.
But have it decorating above. Oh, ridiculous.
For someone to take it and then point it at you and then say, give me all your money.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice job, mate.
But yeah, anyway, you've got a closing statement then, Cocker.
I do. A perfect first addition to the trilogy. The blueprint for what's to come. Brains.
Brains indeed, Daniel. But tonight we're talking... I've been watching a lot of Family Guy, and I just think there's a lot of comedic depth to Tom Tucker that I think is...
Hello, I'm Tom Tucker.
What's that line? Oh, something like quite a spectacle, Tom, indeed, Diane. And it's just like it just really
Jesus
made me
Christ,
laugh.
that is our catchphrase. What's that line? What's that line again?
God, yeah, it's like if we ever did a live version of this podcast, because this is edited down and streamlined beautifully.
Yeah.
By our supreme editing skills.
Yeah, we'd be fucked if it was live.
Oh god, yeah. If it was ever like Shouting Into the Void con, and it was me and you doing a live panel,
yeah.
God, yeah, we'd be fucked. People in the audience dozing off. What are these fuckers talking about now? It's been going on for 3 hours. Fuck, Jesus.
They're sleeping and we're just shouting about Dodgeball. Well, I still contest his decision to do that because it ruined the game for it. It's like, Danny, we need to move on. No. We're going to keep going with this until I've made my point. And then everyone just... At that point, it wouldn't matter, Lewis, because they've paid to get in, so fuck them.
Oh my god, what a spectacular attitude to have towards your audience. Well, they've paid. Fuck them. Oh, God's sake.
I am joking. Right. I am joking, of course.
Right, I really need a wee, so before I wee myself, let's do closing statements.
We've done closing I'm waiting on you. I'm waiting on you.
Oh, yeah, fucking Jesus. A play on classic zombie movies that's got plenty of heart and humour. I'm a fan of all the elements in this film. I love the Edgar Wright films, and this feels like a great proto-Edgar Wright film. I like it.
What a great way to end the podcast. Right, I need a piss. Come on, let's do this. Let's hurry up.
Oh God. I care very deeply about this podcast, but I also care about my bladder.
Why don't you go for a pee and we'll just edit it?
That's very true. I could do that. Yeah.
Right, go.
Okay, I'll be BRB.
Right. See you in a minute, folks.
I'm back, and I'm ready to talk in a very relaxed fashion about
Okay.
about the shilling that we do at the end of every podcast.
Should we just just go back into it as if, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. We're back.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for everybody for breaking.
How was your piss, Lewis?
Oh, majestic.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Right. Before this carries on any longer, let's just get the shilling done now. Jesus Christ.
Oh, God. I've really enjoyed these Cornetto Trilogy films,
Yeah.
but for some reason, this is like... We've just talked about shite for most of this one.
And piss.
Shite, yes.
Shite.
We've talked about a wide variety of toilet-based material for this podcast.
Yep. Usual. We have a segment called the 10-minute bullshit. Jesus Christ. So people are like, oh, that podcast, they just talk about shite. Well, it's advertised, isn't it? Okay, right. I am on Instagram at O'Hiram. I'm on Facebook at Daniel K. Actor. And I'm on Twitter at Kerzo2000. What are you on, Lewis?
I am on Instagram at Lewis_Brindley. I'm on Twitter at LewisBrindley4. And I have a Facebook page, Lewis Brindley.
Yes.
The podcast is hosted by Podomatic. I like to snatch the rug out from under your feet and do it sometimes.
I left a wee pause there to let you get in there this time.
Oh, yeah. The podcast is hosted by Podomatic. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Deezer, Google Podcasts. We are everywhere in the world. Make sure you go and check out our YouTube channel, actually. While I've got you. We've got a nice little community growing over there. Go and check it out. It's nice.
Yep.
I find great pleasure.
So do I. We are partnered with a wonderful company called Strudels Ltd. And it's not my turn to edit this week. It's Lewis's. So, Lewis, do you want to introduce the advert?
You ready, everybody? You will hear it. Da 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 da. Now. Hey Dan, do you ever drink things?
No, actually, I don't.
Right, well that's messed the ad up then, hasn't it? Oh, good grief. Well, if you're not a massive weirdo, then you might like to drink things from time to time, and sometimes you might even like to use a straw.
Yeah, and there are lots of options available. I've got a metal one, and they come in plastic.
Bad for the environment.
Or paper.
Falls apart immediately.
Yep, which is why strudels are out there. Strudels are straws made out of pasta, and straight away both of those problems Lewis just said are solved. The pasta will decompose in a day after you throw it away, and they'll stay strong in your drink for at least an hour.
Exactly. What's not to love? Plus, they're super convenient. Having a couple of them in the cupboard will mean you don't have to keep cleaning a metal straw every time you do the dishes.
Indeed it will. Check them out today at strudels.co.uk. You will not regret it.
And we're back. Wasn't that wonderful?
Aww.
I really enjoyed that.
Beautiful.
Don't come to expect those theme tunes. That cost me £300 to make those noises.
Oh, that's Mario. Sorry.
Copyright claim by Nintendo.
We also have a Patreon, and
we do.
We want to take this opportunity to thank our wonderful patrons, Chloe. Darius, thank you again for the notes on Hot Fuzz.
Thank you, Darius.
Sorry that it's taken this long to get to them.
It took us a while, but I hope you enjoyed our chat about Summerfields.
Sophie, Peter, and of course Aditya. Thank you so much, guys. You keep us going.
Yes, thank you.
And we love you very much.
You are all good eggs. Thank you for supporting the podcast.
Yes. We also have a PayPal donate button. We have merch that we still need to do an advert for because I've forgotten what we sell. We sell cups.
We've got hoodies, we've got mugs, we've got badges, we've got stickers, we've got all sorts of stuff. Links will be
tote bags. We've got tote bags.
Oh, we do have I really like the tote bags.
Yep.
Even if you don't want to buy a tote bag, go and look at the tote bags because they're brilliant.
Just stare at it. No, we need to do an advert for that, Lewis.
Yes, we do. But yeah, the links will be in the description or wherever they might be. They're in our link trees as well.
Yes.
So you can check them out there.
Definitely. We are also partnered with another fantastic company called
Indeed we are.
Number 12 Crochet Avenue, and this is Lewis's time to shine. So there you go.
Number 12 Crochet Avenue is a amazing company run by my amazing wife. She crochets and she is ludicrously good at it. I say this every week, and I cannot agree with myself enough. It's like some kind of sorcery is happening before my eyes. It's like, you know, when you watch somebody that's really clever at like maths or something do equations, and you're like, I have no conception of how that happens. I just do not understand the steps that go into making such a thing. But she's making a scarf now, and it's absolutely beautiful. Gorgeous shades of blue. It's a commission for Darius, who is one of our wonderful patrons. And it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm a big fan of it, and I can't wait to see it when it's finished. But her Instagram is at number 12 Crochet Avenue. The Instagram is it's one of those. I don't know why I keep doing that. I feel the need to, but it's a chef kissing his fingers and then flicking them into the air because he's just made a delicious meal. That's what it is. And she takes commissions. She's amazing. Go and check it out at number 12 Crochet Avenue.
Definitely. What was that other thing I was going to say? What was that other what was it? Oh, yeah.
What's that quote?
I remember now. Cornelius, I implore you to see reason. The evidence that the Dark Lord has returned is incontrovertible. He's not back. In the matter of Harry Potter, the lore clearly states that magic used before muggles can be allowed in life-threatening situations. And I've forgotten the rest. That's a thing that we do now. We just quote Harry Potter.
Yeah, we quote Harry Potter films at random. I don't really know that I don't really know Order of the Phoenix too well.
Oh.
It was one of my least favourite books, and the film's good. It's not one of my faves.
I don't know anything about the Half-Blood Prince either.
Half-Blood Prince is my favourite.
It's a very good. It's a very, very good film / book. But like,
I really like it.
I can't quote anything from it.
No, I mean, I say it's my favourite. Neither can I.
I can quote from the Deathly Hallows. We'll do that another time.
Yeah, we'll quote from the Deathly Hallows at some point.
Yeah.
I really want J.K. Rowling to get in touch with me. Send me a cease and desist letter. Can we make that happen, please? If we quote enough Harry Potter to get J.K. Rowling to send me a cease and desist.
There's a restraining order, Harry. What? You're a wizard, Harry.
I'm a what?
Who the fuck are you? What?
You're just some massive hairy bloke who kicked the door in. Why should I take your word for anything?
Who are you? God. But anyway. Well, this is exciting, the thing I'm about to say next.
Is it? I'm excited.
Yep.
Prepare yourself, everyone.
I don't know if you lot have been counting, but this is episode 39 of our lovely little podcast, which means the next episode is episode 40. Boom, quick maths. And
Ooh.
for the next episode, to celebrate our 40th anniversary, we are going to do something very, 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 very special.
Indeed we are.
So, instead of doing a film or a book or a television series or any other piece of media, we've decided to do another complete podcast of bullshit. Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah.
The ultimate bullshit 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, that's the name we came up with. And it's not only us that are partaking in the bullshit. We have Chloe, Lewis's Chloe, who will be joining us
my amazing
to talk
wife.
about some bullshit. And we have some special guests that I won't mention here, but you'll find out who they are soon enough.
I am very, very excited for this. It's a big collaborative thing.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to putting it all together, recording all of it. It's just really good. I look forward to it.
So am I. Well, I think that's us.
I think that is us. I think we've managed to break through every single thing in the podcast now.
Yes. What are we at? An hour and 27 minutes.
Oh my god. Oh, the podcast is an hour and a half long.
Well,
there's
going to be
yeah.
there's going to be some editing, isn't there? So it might not be as long as that.
No, I'm not going to edit it. I'm just going to leave it
Just
plain unedited and
five-
upload it like that.
5 minutes of silence when we cut out. Oh God! Right, okay. Cheers, folks. Tune in.
Yes, thank you very much for listening. Stay safe, stay hydrated.
Yep.
Call your nan and say hi.
Yeah, and please tune in next week. It's going to be a good one.
It is going to be a good one. I cannot wait to see you there.
Yeah. Hear you, smell you, lick you.
Hear you, smell you, lick your eyeballs, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, see you next time.
See you later. Thank you.